Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And as you can see on the screen, I couldn't stay away. I had to talk about my Arakni updates, talk about the hero in general, how I feel about it from a competitive perspective and just from a casual play perspective, because the hero is a little bit lower on the rung now. But just kind of get into it, show you my deck changes, and have a good discussion. So Arakni as a hero, obviously I kind of put down once new was released, or new was announced, and started just really put my headspace there. Really excited for new as Mistveil come out, and new has been great. Like, it hasn't been a hero I've disliked or anything like that. I just can't stay away from the faceless killer vibe of Arakni, right? No matter where Arakni sits in the meta, no matter if it's the worst hero in the game or somehow some crazy way ever becomes the best hero in the game, it's going to be my favorite hero. It really overtook Katsu for me a while back. Honestly, before the Calling Dallas, I almost ran Arakni at the Calling Dallas instead I ran Katsu just because I chickened out. But even though I'm kind of known as a ninja creator, I'm also known a little bit as an assassin person, and Arakni was, the brainchild of that. I just love everything about the thematics, about Contract, about the faceless killer, about all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, I'm a big trope for assassin roguelikes in any video game, and so Arakni just hit me home. But we're going to talk about the deck because there are some good upgrades for the deck, and although Arakni, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Arakni is like, meta or can be meta. It's definitely a fringe hero at best, right? It just is, and it's going to be until they make insane contract upgrades at some point. Hopefully, I think they might at some point, or they might continue to give Arakni a little bit of love, but maybe not. Who knows? But regardless, we'll talk about the deck here. What's kind of stayed the same? The equipment has not changed. Obviously, this is tried and true bread and butter. You can run, as we go to the sideboard really fast, some good sideboard equipment. Balance of Justice is really good right now. I think it's a little bit better than Mask of Perdition depending on how you're playing. I think that it's really hard because honestly I'd love to get that continuous banishment on the Zen side and continue to thin their deck out, but Balance of Justice getting that extra cards in and having the 2-block is just really nice. I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit. For Brute specifically, I do always have this because their numbers are going to be so high sometimes that the 2-block and the extra card is very valuable. So, and then we also have Skill Peeler, which is in here as well for obvious reasons. Really good in the Zen. Into Zen, I'm running Scale Peeler and Spider's Bite to be able to get the full effect there. Really, really nice. I'm running this into Warrior, running this into Victor. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the most part, as far as like high relevant meta heroes. So there's that. And then also sideboard equipment. We have AB2 with the Oasis package for Kano to give us at least a fighting chance, right? So that's the equipment. Everything else is pretty standard. Nothing else has changed. When it comes to the main board, again, we'll talk about some of the tried and true stuff, and then we'll talk about the changes. So what's mostly not changed is the red cards. I'm already dead. This card is so much better now because it says you're contracted to banish opponents' non-action cards. That means instants or reactions or equipment, right? And as you know, with Mistveil heroes, instants are way more prominent. So the ability for this card to make silver has gone up tremendously with the inclusion of all the Mistveil heroes. There's a lot more instants in the game, and equipment's being blocked with pretty well. Most time people won't block this equipment in fear of you having a reaction or something, but regardless, this is a popper, and its silver generation has gone way up since the Mistveil release, so it's a lot better now. Right, Annihilate the Armed, pretty standard here, right? Really good to most heroes. Command and Conquer, Cut to the Chase, nothing crazy here. Enlightened Strike, I'm keeping this in the deck just for flexibility. This is where the first discussion point comes right now. If you're wanting to play Arakni, here's my thought, right? You have two lines of thought. Let's say you want to play Arakni, but you're wanting to make it the most competitive deck possible. You probably would end up taking something out like a Sack the Shifty line and putting in Looking for Scrap. You could even put in Hurls, like in the Justinic slot, whatever you want to do, even though Hurl's not as popular. Some Go Again package, right, for Enigma, because Enigma is going to be a problem for this deck. But for me, I'm very much playing this for like 80% love, 20% skill. Good callback there. And so for me, I'm just going to try to dodge my bad matchup. There's not a lot of people playing Enigma in my local area. The one person that was playing Enigma a lot switched over to Zen. So until Zen gets hits, I don't really have to worry about Enigma in my local meta. So I'm just kind of playing all in, and I don't have as much flexibility on Go Again and stuff like that. But I still have Enlightened Strike in the deck just because of the flexibility it does bring you. Then we're running Sinks and Fates. I run a little bit more defensive. Some people put these in the sideboard. I like them in the main board. Arakni's trying to do one thing: thin your deck, play defensive. Right, you are playing active. You are trying to actively banish their deck. You're not just block me, block. But I do like having the Fates and the Sinks regardless. We'll skip Just a Nick for a second. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Leave No Witnesses. Need I say more? Plunder the Poor, very good in this meta. There's a lot of cost 1 or less things in all 3 Mistveil heroes. Pretty much all of them run that. There are a couple, like obviously 2 or greater in Enigma, and that's what we have Rob the Rich for. But Plunder the Poor hits a lot of stuff in this meta right now. Rob the Rich is very good into Enigma, very good into Prism, very good into KO. So that card has pretty much became a staple as well. And then I ended up keeping Sack the Shifty in because it's very good into Zen. And we have to target Zen a little bit more to try to get that silver generation as much as possible. It's also pretty good into Azalea. It hits all of her non-attack actions, so that's really nice. Yeah, it's just overall pretty good. You could run Slay the Scholars in this spot if you feel like that's going to hit a little bit better. But for me, if you want to like target Enigma a little bit more or new, but for me, I think Sack the Shifty is pretty good. So that's what I have in here. Then Sync. Codex and Eradicate, nothing too crazy there, both extremely good. We're only running 3 shreds. There's not as much blocking in this meta, so I took out the blue shreds in favor of some of these new cards, but you could go up to 5. I think it's okay to go up to 2 more blue shreds. Maybe you take out, you know, a last ditch effort and, you know, a Conceal Blade maybe, and put those 2 shreds in there if you want to. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And so when we get to the new cards, one, we have Just Nick, and we'll talk about that last because it makes the most sense. We're still running, this isn't new, but we're still running Coercive Tendency, cards cracked. Conceal Blade, we have gone to a 3 of, and the reason we have done that is because we have Bonds of Agony and Persuasive Prognosis in the deck. So Bonds of Agony needs 3 reactions to proc, which in Arakni is actually easier than Uziri because you are running Mask of Perdition the most time, and this is why I'm teetering between Mask of Perdition and Balance of Justice, and I might only run Balance into Prism because having this card up for an Agony makes it very, like, you could have no reactions in your hand. You could literally throw Agony as a 1-card hand, and if you have Perdition, Flick Knives, and Whisperers up, like, yes, that's a lot to invest, but also you're taking an entire playset out of their deck, right? So, like, why wouldn't you? They have to respect it. They have to throw 4 at it. So that's why I enjoy having Mask Perdition, but we have Bonds of Agony because it's pretty easy to proc this, right? When you have stuff like Coercive Tendency, which still counts as a reaction, you have Conceal Blade, you have Shred because they might block it a little bit, maybe. You have Mask Perdition and Flick Knives and Black Tech Whisperers. Like, it's not that hard to get Agony off. So I am trying 3. This might go down to a 2-of, but right now it's a 3-of just to play with it and see if I like it. Then we also have Persuasive Prognosis. This card is just like, I think this is the best card, right, that Assassin got this in Mistveil, just because it is the most universally good Assassin card, no matter what hero you're playing. Uziri, Arakni, and Nu. This is cracked in all of them. It gains life when it banishes an action card. Like, so for you, you don't get the on block that Nu gets, so that kind of sucks. But if you pair this with stuff like Just Nick and also banishing itself from itself, it's really, really nice, right? And that's why we're running 2 Just Nicks. We do have 3 6 cards here that will proc for Just Nick. But if you notice, Just Nick's text says target attack action card with 1 or less base gets +5. Target attack with stealth hits. When this hits, banish the top card of their deck. It allows you to, even if this isn't going to hit, or even if it's going to hit, you can just banish an additional card. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I was brain farting there. But Just Nick's a little bit weird. I'm trying it. I only have 6 targets. We might add some sneak attacks in here to make it a little bit better. We may even like just get rid of this latch stitch effort and like add in like, you know, a 1 or a 2 of sneak attack. I think that might be worth it. But for right now, we have the 2. If we end up not liking it, you know, we'll try something else. But I wanted to try to include it just because it's so good, you know. And then the sideboard can be whatever you want it to be. It really depends on your meta. For me, I am teching for Prism, teching for Mistveil heroes in general, and I'm not really teching for Prism. I'm just trying to make it like somewhat maybe winnable if I can skill diff them. So Blanche is really good for that. Blanche is really good both offensively and defensively into Prism. I'm really enjoying this against Prism because this is mainly a popper, but if you have to play this card, it still matters for Prism because it turns off their go again if they let it hit. So it's really nice for that. It's also good into all the Mistveil heroes. It's good to Enigma for popping, good to turn off her pitching a blue card, good for telling New you don't have a blue card anymore, stuff like that. Oasis simply for Kano mainly, but it is also for Azalea. You also can put this into the Assassin Mirror, whatever the case may be. Oasis really good for that. And then Weakest Link, all 3 Mistveil heroes care about this. And right now, Mistveil heroes are making up 60% of wins in national season. I think that will only stay at that level or higher. So Weakest Link, I think, is an automatic include in pretty much every deck that can run it feasibly. Time Snap Potion, just so we don't get looped or try not to get looped, although it's kind of a lost cause, but, you know, I'm going to try it. And then we have AB2 and Balance of Justice Skill Peeler. So that's where we're at with the deck right now. 80 card core. You could definitely change this up. Like I said, the things up for discussion for me, and I'm playing this 80% love, 20% skill, right? So I'm playing the type of deck I want to play. You definitely can look at Bonds of Agony if you only want to run. I would definitely run at least one of these. If you just want to run a one of just to scare people, definitely do it. You can definitely go down to that. Last ditch effort. You don't have to run it. I just enjoy this card. I love it. That's kind of an up for debate spot. Another up for debate spot is the Sack the Shifties if you want to try something run a little bit more cleaner there. And then finally, Justinic, I think, is also an up for debate spot. But other than that, I think the core is pretty good. I love this hero. I just do. Surprisingly, somehow the price of this hero on min-max, that's on min-max price. The price of this hero is slightly going down because some of the stuff doesn't matter. But for the most part, I really enjoy this hero a lot, and it's my favorite hero to play. I'm going to be playing it at locals. People are going to hate me because I'm playing this fringe hero. But I just love it. It's my favorite hero in the game. Maybe one day we'll get some type of upgrade. Maybe the faceless, killer, the faceless group will come back to light. But let me know what your thoughts are on the hero. I'd love to hear it. I'm super excited about it. Super excited still to play it, regardless where it is in the meta. Because now, the thing with Arakni is I know the hero is not that good. So when I lose, it's like, whatever. I'm playing the hero I love playing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like kind of how Katsu was for a little bit. And even now, how New is. When I lose, I'm like, oh, I hate losing because I know this hero is better than I'm playing. I want to get better with it, right? But when I lose with Arakni, I'm like, I lost with Arakni, right? So, but the hero is definitely playable. You can definitely, especially some of the aggro matchups, you can really take advantage and really be efficient. You also could even think about, that's actually a good inclusion for Justinic, is Sigil of Solace. You could switch that out for Sigil of Solace. I think that'd be a really good switch. But yeah, overall, hopefully you enjoy this type of content. I just really wanted to post it. I'm really enjoying the hero. I sleeved it back up. It's going to stay sleeved and stay in my deck box. Always going to be willing to play it. But thank you all so much. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. Sorry for the lack of videos. I'm just posting videos when I want to. Been pretty busy. I'll do a Nationals recap probably tomorrow. But yeah, thank you all so much. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk.